I'd never read Equus before the play by Peter Schaffer. I think I'd always wanted to, as I knew it was a Year 12 English text. I think I steered away because I thought it would be too confronting. If you know the gist or even a little bit about it, it kind of makes you want to steer away. But the thing is, art is meant to be provocative, art is symbolic, and this is quite a masterpiece in my opinion for the ways in which it elicits this kind of puzzle that you're trying to figure out, but that it actually has so many real world applications on ideas and notions of religion and repression and oppression. And this is a very philosophical book. It's difficult to talk about at times. It basically concerns a young man named Alan, who was played by Daniel Radcliffe in Broadway production in 2008. He is in the care of a hospital due to stabbing the eyes off a number of horses in some stables that he works at. This sort of horrific and disturbing act has brought him into the care of the hospital, and a psychiatrist by the name of Martin Dysart to figure out if he is going to be able to stand trial, what has made him do this. I think he's only 17, so standing trial with those repercussions of that to figure out, is he sane, etc. Martin, the psychiatrist, he's kind of fascinated with Alan. It's one of those roles where not only is the senior teaching the youth, but the youth seems to be teaching the psychiatrist too. I think the writing is superior in its opening pages, where it has a bit of a monologue, and then I think the epilogue the writing is strong as well. For the most part, it's the story and the symbolism that is the draw card for the middle of the novella, and it's a play, and it's not a very long play anyway, so about 100 pages or so you can get through it in a couple of hours. I've told you what it's about in the outset. What is it about beneath the surface? I think it has multiple meanings, and it can mean different things to different folk. I think it's kind of critiquing this kind of obsession that our culture has had, perhaps, and still does to some extent, with religion, and how religion is a particular force that it can do damage to vulnerable people and also children. The horses in many ways seem to represent a religious or significant power, like a Christ figure. Alan's relationship with them seems to elicit this symbol of a Christ figure. I think religion has a lot to answer for. I think parents have a lot to answer for if they have children that are being pressured and controlled and only given one way to think about the world, and that's very corrosive to their self-identity. So that Alan's crime, if you like, is born out of religious obsession, his, but one that was inculcated into him, as well as the religious and sexual oppression, which sometimes, frequently probably, that they endure. I'm not really sure what else to say about this. I highly recommend it. I'd probably give it 4.5 Frisbees for Equus, the play. I'd love to see it one day. I'm very glad that I decided to read it finally, and I think you should too if you like literature. I'm trying to find the first pages where it introduces Dysart, Martin Dysart, the psychiatrist, and some of his comments, perhaps in a diary or log of his encounters with Alan Dysart. With one particular horse called Nugget, he embraces. The animal digs its sweaty brow into his cheek, and they stand in the dark for an hour like a necking couple. And of all the nonsensical things, I keep thinking about the horse, not the boy, the horse, and what it may be trying to do. I keep seeing that huge head kissing him with its chained mouth, nudging through the metal some desire absolutely irrelevant to filling its belly or propagating its own kind. What desire could that be? Not to say a horse any longer. Not to stay a horse any longer, rather. not to remain reined up forever in those particular genetic strings? Is it possible at certain moments we cannot imagine a horse can add its sufferings together and non-stop jerks and jabs that are its daily life and turn them into grief? What use is grief to a horse? You see, I'm lost. What use? I should be asking are questions like these to an overworked psychiatrist in a provincial hospital. They're worse than useless. They are in fact subversive. The thing is, I'm desperate. You see, I'm wearing that horse's head myself. That's the feeling. All reined up in old language and old assumptions, straining to jump clean-hoofed onto a whole new track of being I only suspect is there. I can't see it because my educated average head is being held at the wrong angle. I can't jump because the bit forbids it, and my own basic force, my horsepower if you like, is too little. The only thing I know for sure is this, a horse's head, is finally unknowable to me. Yet I handle children's heads, which I must presume to be more complicated, at least in the area of my chief concern. In a way, it has nothing to do with this boy. The doubts have been there for years, piling up steadily in this dreary place. It's only the extremity of this case that's made them active. I know that. The extremity is the point. All the same, whatever the reason, they are now, these doubts, not just vaguely worrying, but intolerable. I'm sorry, I'm not making much sense. Let me start properly, in order. It began one Monday last month with Hester's visit. Quite an opening and an insight into some of the themes which are going to come through, and also this conflicted character of the psychiatrist. It's a brilliant little play. It does move me in unexpected ways, and I think you should give it a go. So, enjoy. Equus.